user behavior, UX design, website psychology, marketing. B2B has a ton of complexities when it comes to marketing their websites, and traditionally it moves a lot slower than the rest of the marketing engine. As marketers, a lot of times we're kind of a fish in water, and because we see our own websites so much, and it's the traditional scenario, people are just too nice to tell us that we're fat. So these are the biggest B2B healthcare website crimes. To not call you out, but hopefully we can go in and fix together. I want to start this with a pretty simple analogy. Because the feedback loop with website analytics are so slow and not real time, repeated website behaviors stack up and we don't notice them. A lot of times it's like putting that second bite of fries or another cheeseburger in your mouth. You don't feel the detriments of it right away. Over time, it just starts to manifest itself in other areas. Maybe you get high social traffic, but it's not converting to actual revenue. The website always sits at the very bottom of our sales funnel, and that's why we want to make sure we're filling it up with good food. So let's move away from this scenario. Let's be like this guy. Mistake number 1, vagueness and obscurity. This is the fastest way that you can lose trust. If your homepage, headline, or anything else on the website is unclear, people are going to start to question you right away. Donald Miller has this thing called the Grunt test. Picture a caveman going and looking at the hero section of your homepage, and if that caveman can't answer who you are, what you do, and what's in it for him, you've already lost. So an example in healthcare, transforming your care, learn how we drive innovation. What does that mean? Who is this? Well, I have no idea what I'm looking at right now. You have plenty of real estate above the fold on your homepage. We need to make sure we're using all this lovely space on our hero sections well. A better example would be company name provides world-class resources and training to move healthcare outcomes forward. Now, that's a lot more compelling. I know what you are and I know what's in it for me. By the way, you guys would be shocked to see what company this is. This is the Mayo Clinic. Another problem with vagueness. A lot of times we see that the H2 is more descriptive than the H1, and that's the problem. When all is said, it's done. What does that mean? When all is said is done, what does that mean? I have no idea. The second headline, AI-centric solutions for human-centric medicine. Wow, all of a sudden I'm learning AI-centric, I know what the tool does, and I know that you're pertinent to medicine. That is much better, that should be our H1. Let's just swap them, we already got it on the page. This is the biggest one, in your navigation. Like I said, people don't scroll. If 70% of our visitors are only using the information that they have above the fold, let's make it as descriptive as possible. Here's an example. Product, solutions, learn, company, support. What products? Solutions? What does solutions even mean? No one talks like that. The only people that use the word solutions are people that are trying to sell us stuff, and we don't like that. Learn. What am I learning? Company. What company? Support. What kind of support? Life support? Wow, look at that. Just a few simple changes, and now we know what the hell to do. Products? No. Medical instruments. The exact language they use in the drop-down of this section. Solutions? Healthcare research data, the main value prop of our company. Learn, healthcare articles. We know what the modality of learning is on this website. Company, about Illumina. Wow, I want to learn about this company, and now I know what company I'm learning about. Support? No, it's not life support. Get answers. That tells me it's an FAQ. Okay, moving on. Let's see a real-life example of how people are using your navigation. Go ahead and open up Google Analytics. I know that can bring some postpartum emotions in some of us marketers, but don't worry, I'm going to walk you through this step by step. We're going to go to the left tab and we're going to click on the Explore. We're going to go all the way to the right of the page and we're going to pick on the Path Exploration on this little diagram right here. This is called a Sankey diagram. We're going to click Start Over because GA4 likes to make graphs for no apparent reason. You're going to go to Starting Point right here and we're going to pick Page Path and Screen Class. That may sound overly complex, but that's essentially just the lingo that GA4 uses to identify different pages, the category they fall under. It's going to bring up the slide out modal on the right here. You're going to want to click this backslash because that's where people are entering our site from the homepage. Generally, a good place to get some data to know when people are landing on our homepage, where are they clicking to, where are they going next. And then boom, these are the people within the search criteria that are starting on your homepage and directly where they're going next. And if you have descriptive URLs, it's going to get a whole lot more clear. Now we know right away, boom, the majority of people are going to our portfolio. They're seeing our work. We better make sure that that work is good. That's important. Now we know that. Good thing it is. Where else are we unclear? In our sub headline. Here is an example of an oral surgery center in Staten Island. Big H2, our center, another H2, delivering superior results. I don't know what I'm getting into. That's not descriptive at all. Our center, let's change that. Staten Island's premier oral surgery center. Wow. Delivering superior results, driving outcomes for patients just like you. The more personalized we can get in our copy and our messaging, the more special that our visitors feel. And that's going to lead to a high converting website. The next mistake. What is marketing? There are no marketing integrations on our website. Traffic and visitors to our pages are not going to convert themselves. As marketers, we should view our website as the core of our entire ecosystem. Not only is it at the very bottom of our sales funnel, but it is meant to answer all of our key questions and be the thing that represents us best. But if we don't measure anything, we don't know how to improve it. And here's a few things we can do to get better at the measurement part of our websites. And if any of us marketers are feeling a little bit insecure, I have a really good story. Earlier this year, we worked with a $5 million a year healthcare research company in Scottsdale, Arizona. For 7 years, they did not have form submission notifications set up on their website. And this is a company that does large healthcare research contracts, some of the biggest names in healthcare. And when we migrated them to Webflow, we finally inherited the site, we got into their WordPress admin. There were over 700 form submissions in the past 7 years that nobody had seen or responded to. And a company by the name of Novo Nordisk had reached out to them about 2 years ago and were interested in pursuing a case study. Whether it would have led to a closed deal, I don't know. But we looked through all these form submissions afterwards and we sent them to the COO, and needless to say, he was not pleased. If you guys are feeling overwhelmed, like you are totally out of touch with your website, just know that there are people out there that are doing this worse than you are. Okay, website analytics. How? What do we do? What's the first step? We need to experiment. Really, I encourage us to have fun. As marketers, we are experimenters. We're experimenting on social, we're experimenting in email. Our websites should be the same, and they don't have to be scary. We want to use contact forms, we want to measure traffic, create conversion events, and most importantly, we want to change things over time. So the first hierarchy of things that we want to measure, we want to gather info from our visitors, make it easy for people to get in touch with us. This about floored me when I read this statistic from UX Area. 7 out of 10 small business websites still don't include a call to action. So again, marketers, give yourself a clap on the back. If you have a button that leads to a conversion page, you are already in the top 30%. The bar for being exceptional may be low, but here we are. Another thing on gathering info from our visitors, simple contact forms are controllable and have many advantages. Andy from Orbit Media Studios ran this comparison. It's a really good table. Basically, when you have contact forms, you have a lot more control of what the next step is in the customer journey. Quick case study. One of our clients, Alt Social, we did an A/B test on an exit intent pop-up, and it generated over 500 leads and 300 paid conversions for Alt Social in just 2 months. On the note of experimenting, test multiple things, test pop-ups. Yes, they're not always the use case, but in this scenario, this is a B2C healthcare. This is a B2C health and wellness events company, and they operate on ticket sales and drops. And a lot of that comes through their mailing list. We wanted to have a low friction opt-in for an email address so that when we do ticket launches, we could send tickets to that address, motivate an on-the-spot purchase. In the first 2 months, the intent pop-up got 12,349 views, 561 leads, so those were the form submissions. So it's about a 4.5% conversion rate, which is quite nice. Were the leads qualified, Andy? Yes, they were. We went into their MailChimp account, and as you can see, these are all high-intent buyers, attendees of previous events, and as you can see, real email addresses that are then tagged in their mailing list. Third and final mistake we're going to cover today, UX and design stupidity. Good UX and good design is simple. A great experience should guide users to where they want to go and not feel forced. It should answer all of their questions, and the design and the UX should just not get in the way of that at all. When users don't have to think or they're not confused about how to navigate our pages, and they're not confused when they're getting their questions answered, that leads to trust. Especially in healthcare, trust is the conversion event. A couple points I'll go through here really quick. Humans don't read. Avoid any large body of text. Use formatting. Use double spaces. Use pull quotes. Use subheadlines. Users will scan for meaning. Have your main value props and no more than 2 lines, and have short descriptors under each of them that reinforce the point you made in the headline. B, don't lose your visitors. We work so hard to get our ideal clients to our websites, and the last thing we want to do at the key point of decision is send them somewhere else. An example right here, I'm a huge fan of social proof, and you should be too. But when it comes to conversion pages, don't make them link out. These right here, G2 badges, top 50, top 50, top 100. These are incredible elements of social proof, but we don't want to link them out to a G2 page, which is also a directory of all of our competitors. When we're on our conversion page, have the social proof, but don't make it link out. Another one, social media icons. My friend Andy Cresadina calls these candy-colored exit buttons. On the other side of these buttons is social media, cat videos. Dude Perfect, Mark Rober. Don't send our prospects away at the key point of decision. If anything, make these share to links and not direct social links. Next, stock photos. I get a lot of pushback for this, but I don't think I'm wrong here. Stock and AI-generated imagery is necessary on a website a lot of times, but it can be done right. Investing in a good stock asset is always worth it. If you have good photos, if you have actual photos, hire a photographer, have them come in and take photos of you and the team. And if you have to use AI photos, do it right. Don't do something that looks like this. Basically just refine an existing headshot that you already have. I recommend using Google AI Studio. That's the tool that we use if we have to do AI image refinement. It does a very good job. And don't use a mobile app or something like that that's going to create this alien thing looking right here. Lastly, moving targets. Sliders on websites are stupid. If you have one on your WordPress site, if you have one on your builder, remove it now. Please and thank you. The data is very clear on this. Orbit Media Studios ran a test. Every subsequent position on an auto-rotating slider decreases by 15 to 20% at minimum. It is already hard enough to get our prospects to click CTAs. And the last thing I want to do is create a moving target for them to make it even harder. Wow, that was a lot, and I went through that pretty quickly. Thank you guys for watching. This was a ton of fun to get put together. If you're a marketer, you know a marketer that could get value from this, feel free to send it their way. If you have any questions, connect with me over on LinkedIn. My name's Andy Milligan, company MMG Design. I'd love to have a conversation. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.